good morning. Hope everybody's day goes well for them today. I'm going to take just a few minutes to answer a couple of questions that were posed from my last couple of videos. And I may make this a normal habit where we have our build video on either Saturday or Sunday, and then maybe on Monday and Tuesday we'll have a coffee break where I answer any questions or comments. A few weeks ago we did the how to flock a drawer, and Gary posed a question. He says, do you have to use the flocking paint that comes in the kit? And my initial response to him was, well, I don't know why you couldn't. And I told him that I would run a test. Well, I did. I ran a test with just some latex paint. And we'll go to that little short video response. As to the question on whether or not you can use just regular paint, or do you have to use the flocking paint that comes with the flocking kits, it's a good question, and I wasn't sure. So I ran a little test. I took a piece of this is just scrap 2x4, and I painted it with just some latex paint that you can get at the big box store, just a sample. This particular one was a maroonish color, and I painted it, and then I flocked it while it was still nice and wet, and it covered it pretty well. I think on my next box I may try this, but I don't know why you couldn't use other paints. It dries much faster. That's one positive. The only negative might be durability. So Gary, I'm not sure. That helped answer your question. It's a great question, and I'm going to try it a little more extensive. One of the benefits of using some latex paint like that would be cutting the drying time down considerably, not to mention brush cleanup, and it'd just be a whole lot better. But I'm just concerned about the durability. We'll do a longer range test. And then on the segmenting sled, I had some good feedback from a couple of viewers. Brian suggested the way I hold the inserts down up against the hold down tracks. They're just sitting there, and I used a little screw. And he said that he thought maybe that screw would work loose over time, and it might if they were taken off and on a lot, which they're not, but he suggested drilling a hole in all 4 of the inserts in the same place, and then mounting a 1/4 20 nut in the sled, and then with just a little hold down knob. And I did exactly that, and you can see that in this little support video. I had actually planned on doing that in my initial design, but I got in a hurry and didn't. But it was an excellent idea, and it's just a matter of drilling all the inserts in the same place, which I have done, and then there's a 1/4 20 nut epoxied into the sled, and each one of them attaches with just a little bolt, and it's secure and it's flexible. So Brian, I appreciate that comment. Along the same line, Mike, he actually called me, and we talked about this. The other suggestion from Mike, he actually called me, and he said, I was surprised that when you said the riving knife was thicker than the blade, which is usually not the case. And so it made me come out and double check, and sure enough, the blade is like 98 thousandths thick, and this riving knife is 95 thousandths, about 3 thousandths less than the blade. So I don't know why it was tight initially, but I put the riving knife back on, and I did widen this gap for the first half of the blade ever so slightly, but I don't think that made a difference. I just think the newness of everything had it stiffened up for a little bit. Maybe the runners were stiff, I don't know. But it seems to be fine now. I do have the splitter in, and it's working fine. So Mike, thanks for calling, and thanks for making me think and making me double check. And sure enough, it probably was me more than the sled or the riving knife or the blade. So. And the last thing I want to talk about this morning is I got a couple of stickers. I'm going to give a couple of shouts. I got one from Orly at OG Timbercraft. Check out his site. And then I got one from Pete's Custom Creation. It's Pete Matthew, aka Pete Matthew. So appreciate those. And again, those will go up on my sticker board. As far as upcoming projects, later this week, probably release the video on the closet storage solution. And beyond that, not sure. So, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, work safe.